don't know. Should, but you know what? It's not really a bad idea just to talk about what's going on. Life in general is not always peachy keen and silly. I've had my share of really dumb things happening. I mean, honestly, I've had some pretty stupid things, and I don't really quite understand why people do what they do, but you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being, you know, myself, naive at times. I mean, I wanted to make friends, but you know, after a while, friendship for me has always been that whole, hey, I'm your friend, and then I'm not your friend, and then I am told that I am just this awful human being for not being, what is it, I never understood that whole thing of why people would do that to me when I was being nice to them back in the day. I used to be friends with this one girl in high school who I think it was really weird because the girl who told me not to be her friend anymore was a girl that was technically mean to me, but her name was Meredith, and I took Meredith's words to heart because honestly, when I met Meredith years later, she literally thanked me for being actually decent enough not to treat her like a piece of garbage, because she did treat a lot of people like crap. But she actually thought it was sad that I was nice to somebody, and then that somebody turned into the asshole that they turned into. But you know, that doesn't always happen in the whole friendship circle. I never really hated anybody like that until I actually met my sister's ex-husband, which, FYI, I don't technically hate him, but he's kind of an idiot. So I don't know. Nah. I just sort of look at him like, really? You're doing that? Okay. I mean, it's not like he ever watches me do YouTube channel stuff anyway, and honestly, if he does, he better make a comment that, I'm doing something wrong in my gaming, so not really that bad. Most of my gaming stuff is just me being me and having fun. I mean, I never understood the whole, gaming for the sake of popularity, because I just do this because I think it's fun. And I'm a 40-year-old person who probably, should have had kids, but didn't. So I guess that's pretty pathetic, if you ask me. But then again, most people think that gaming for me was, you know, I think I could tell this story because it's actually pretty funny for story times. Back when I was a kid, my parents did have this rule about video games. Most of the video games did not come out until during the winter. So yeah, my Atari did not come out until it had to be freaking freezing outside, and it was not, it had to have been snowing for us to actually be allowed to say, hey, yo, Mom, it is really fucking cold outside. And yeah, that's actually what happened. My mom would actually tell people, no, they're not gonna bring the games out. She would actually, she was like one of those really interesting moms, because everyone thought my mom was like the coolest person in the universe because she let me and my sister get away with anything. By the way, just so you know, truth be told, that is not true. Let me tell you something very funny about my mom. My sister and I didn't get away with shit. Okay? When people talk about my family and they're like, oh, you got away with this. No. We did not get away with anything in our family. What makes me laugh at people who think that my sister and I got away with a lot of crap is we didn't. There's the fun part. We did not get away with anything. If you put one toe out of line in my house, Yeah, that's it. You're done. You're finito. Bye-bye. You're grounded. My mom did not... No, my mom was strict, but she was not, like, massively, hey, I'm going to ground you for no reason. I'm going to explain the reason why you're grounded, and you're not going to be, mad at me after it's done. Yeah, that was my mother. She literally said that. One time, I got grounded for no reason. My mother actually quite literally told people the reason I got grounded was because, I didn't tell my mother that a kid was picking on me. I literally did not tell my mother I was being picked on by this kid at school, and I got grounded because I didn't tell anybody. And then, I had another, story time about this. This happened also at my elementary school, and, my mom, did not like the grade. My mother did not like a lot of the people at my school because, quite frankly, the only people that actually did anything that was remotely good was my Girl Scout troop leader, and Mrs. Keaton was probably the nicest lady out there. And she had 2 kids of her own, and her daughter Katie actually came to my birthday party several times, and she actually turned out to be really cool, even though she was really, really massively quiet. She was the youngest of like 3 kids, so, yeah, really massively quiet kids. But she actually turned out to be like one of the nicest people ever, and many people thought, oh, she's a jerk. She actually stood up for me several times, and most of the time she actually went out of her way to tell people to leave me alone. And another girl in my elementary school was a girl by the name of Margaret. I don't remember what her last name was, but, if I ever find her, I want to thank her a lot because she actually made me miss Evergreen a lot because she actually turned up to my birthday party one time, and she was so loud that my mom thought it was funny, that she came to my birthday and told, I was massively shocked, because the girl, I couldn't believe, I am saying this now, but, I am glad I did get a chance to meet the people that I met at my elementary school, and I'm glad that, we are still friends. Some of these people are people I do care a lot about, and even though they may not realize that they did make an impression on me, these are people that actually came forward when I was being bullied and picked on, and some of them actually turned out, to be people that actually should have remained in my friend group for the rest of my life, and I've never actually thanked them in person, which is really sad because I honestly enjoyed, my time at talking to these kids. One of my friends, from my high school years, there was this really funny kid in my high school that, his name was Lonnie. I think his last name was Bacardi, and he was like the silliest kid I ever met, and one of his favorite things to do, and it's not taunt anybody, he never liked teasing people. He did like, however, making you feel like, he was trying to be a good person, but he failed at it so badly that it just sort of made sense to me that he just treated me, he was, in 8th grade, he was in my home ec class, and we made the joke he was the reason why, everybody, told him that we couldn't have knives in the class, and that was a big joke. Because, honestly, that wasn't the reason why the teacher hid the knives, because he wasn't the reason. He may have thought he was the reason, but he wasn't. The teacher was just fucking paranoid and stupid. She did not... I don't think she should have been teaching the class at all. That's just me, but, she was really cool about sewing. So when I learned how to sew, I actually learned off of a very cheap sewing machine that was a POS. Because technically I should have just learned off my grandmother's sewing machine, or at least my great aunt's, because that would have been made more sense. But again, I was a stupid kid, so you can imagine going to school in the 80s and 90s and you're going, what the frick is wrong with these people? They're like the worst type of teachers ever. And you're honestly, you don't really get it until you actually sit there and you talk to these teachers years later and they realize that you're not a bad kid, but your friends are the reason you've made bad choices. But, honestly, I think one of the kids in my class actually said I made the best choice ever when I went to college, because I made the decision to go to college on my own terms, and I didn't really want to go to college with, thinking I was mentally defective. There was this boy who said that I was not mentally defective. I was more intelligent than he was, and I was really surprised because, of course, back in the day, everyone thought kids from special ed were like massively stupid, and I wasn't. He actually told a teacher I actually could do algebra, which, by the way, at that time I wasn't even supposed to be doing algebra, but I did it anyway because my brain just didn't work the way they thought it would. Because my dad is basically was teaching me math through using symbols and using algebra. So when everyone is learning the multiplication tables, as a kid, my brain was going, okay, I can't do this. And my dad said, oh, sure you can. Remember, A times B equals C. Solve for C, plug in the numbers. So he would have me do the multiplication tables in reverse before anyone else. I was doing division before everybody else in my freaking school was. So can you imagine how weird that looks when you're like 10, 11, or 12 years old and your parents are like, oh yeah, she can do this. Really? Thanks, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna digress a little bit. People in my elementary school were like massively, oh my god, I should just say it now. They were all a bunch of freaking okay, there were these kids in my school that probably should not have been teaching school, period. And their names, I swear, this lady, her name actually was pretty funny because, Mrs. Evans was my first grade teacher, and she got yelled at by I believe he was my, art teacher. Yeah, he was really funny. His name was Mr. Powers, and he yelled at my first grade teacher for being an idiot. I mean, I was like, oh sweet, I am not sure who you are, but thanks, man. But yeah, he literally did not like my teachers at all, and he did not like people who treated me like crap. So one day he decided he was going to do something about it. So he decided to tell my he decided to just tell my art teacher. He just told the teacher one night, yeah, he was just one of those teachers who he did not care if this was going to hurt somebody. He did not like this lady, and I don't think she should have been teaching first grade in the first place, because oh my god, she was such a bitch. So my mom did not know what exactly happened, but I was actually given permission to go into the back office to pick up my scissors, because apparently he ordered scissors meant for kids who are left-handed. I'm left-handed, so guess what? Because of that, I was actually living with the stigma of having floppy handwriting. Okay, when you are in first grade, you start learning parts of something called, I believe, calligraphy, or cursive, as it's called. My grandmother had taught me cursive. From day one, I learned how to write my name in the most appropriate ways. My mother did not care. My dad did not care, as long as I was having fun with it. My parents were pretty damn chill. So you can imagine how cool that was when you were a kid having fun in elementary school and you are learning how to write your name in freaking cursive. When you are like 6 or 7 years old and you're going, huh, this is actually pretty cool. And somebody is telling you that is not how you're supposed to look at it. You're supposed to do it this way or that way, or whatever which way your freaking teacher wants you to do it. And I'm looking at the teacher going, meh. Can you imagine the whole thing with my parents just going, oh yeah, she just does it because it's fun. And of course, you get told, it's not supposed to be fun, you're supposed to be working at it. And I'm going, why? People think that because you are learning disabled, you are also an idiot. By the way, if you are watching this and you are in SPED, do yourself a fucking favor and tell your teacher you can do things on your own. You are not supposed to be held back by your own freaking... Yeah. Do not let a teacher hold you back. Do not let them tell you you are not going to make it when you can make it. And there are many people like myself who just look at teachers like, huh? I actually didn't trust a special ed teacher for the longest time, even though one of my really good friends was a special ed teacher, and I said I didn't trust her, and I felt bad for not being able to trust her, but now I kind of understand where Sue Ellen is coming from. And, Sue, I'm still sorry that I can't trust a lot of people. I'm also gonna mention to anyone who comes on the channel about my previous post. The issue was, is the people that were involved in this previous post are people that I am actually I used to trust as people that I knew, but unfortunately because of the situation, it turned into a very toxic situation, and it dragged my family into it, so I am now kind of playing the devil's advocate of sorts, and it is not exactly a role I like playing, considering my mother has done things in the past that I am not entirely proud of, but she's also the kind of person that owns up to it and has admitted she has done stupid things in her past that she is not going to repeat. But my mom also understands that people who have done things to me in my past should be held accountable for their actions. Oh, and for the people that are held accountable for their actions, if your name, and I'm going to say this in the I do not mean to be mean. If you are ever in a situation where you do not trust somebody, either a spouse or a friend, do yourself a favor and think of why. Because some people are really not who they say they are some days. And I honestly don't know how to tell you this, but there are some people that are really just fucking assholes, and I'm really sorry about that. One of my cousins is a really good person. Also, I am leveling my miner at the moment, but I figured I'd do those mining levies, because I actually do need to do them, because I keep putting off the levies, and I'm really, really sorry, I'm really bad at it. I'm really bad at, like, keeping track of things on this game some days, because some of these levies actually help you get, equipment upgrades a lot faster. One of the funny things is that even if said individual are watching this channel, I am hoping I'm boring the living hell out of them, because this is kind of fun to bore the hell out of people who are complete jerks to me, because honestly I don't really mind being boring for this point, because honestly this game is fun, but I also want to make people aware that you do have to grind a bit to get where you want. And I don't really mind if I am boring the living hell out of, I don't know. I shouldn't even say their names. Besides, it's not like they're gonna watch this. They're just gonna sit there going, oh my god, I can't believe she's doing this. This is so boring. I'm like, it's just gaming, come on. It's Minecraft in a way. Well, not really Minecrafting. I mean, seriously. I'm not building anything. Unless it's crafting and being kind of craft goof. But, yeah. I want to mention that, I went to an anime convention. I went to a convention a couple days ago. I mean, Sci-Fi Channel. Hey, by the way, Sci-Fi friends, if you were ever at Mile High Con, I am working with a very good friend of mine. Her name is Lorelei. She is awesome. This is a shout out to her. She is freaking cool. She and her husband are like, I've known them for years and years and years without realizing I've known them for years and years and years. I'm seriously going to laugh myself silly when I tell you this. I met Ian at a I met my friend Ian at a Whovian trivia contest at a convention called Starfest. And oh my god, it was so funny because he didn't know any of the he was in a group that was strictly Star Trek fans. And so as a fan of Doctor Who, and I felt kind of like, okay, this is unfair. These guys don't have this much knowledge, so I'm just gonna help them. So in the middle of a trivia contest, one of the questions was, what product, what item was borrowed from Doctor Who that was used in the TV series Star Trek? And there were quite a few items. There were several costumes. And it was funny at the time because I said, okay, I can do this. This will be great. And one of the guys in the group was like, oh my god, you know everything. Yes, I do. I do. I am willing to help you. And he's like, really? Yeah, I'm willing to help you. I am willing to give you a chance. I am willing to help. And these guys are like, oh my god, thank you. And I'm like, sweet. So, me and Ian had known each other back in the day, and his family was really... His wife is my friend Lorelei, who I met in House Vampire. By the way, if you are from House Vampire and you're watching this, thank you guys. You are so sweet. If it wasn't for you guys, I would not have stayed in the fandom as long as I have in the fandom, because you guys have been like the most amazing group of people I have ever met. And I am so happy to have met you. I am so happy to call you guys my friends. So, FYI, I will tell the story, and for a while, I was invited by a man by the name of Mr. Miller to join the group, and I was like, okay, I will do this. I will join House Vampire, not because it wasn't drama. It was absolutely the most amazing choice I ever made. The people there were super nice. I enjoyed being in their group. I enjoyed being their friend. And I enjoyed being around them. In general, I enjoyed the fact that I was not being judged. And I was in a group. And Miller made the promise that I would not be judged for any situation that had happened in my past. I, quite frankly, have been so grateful to them. And I am so glad that I got a chance to meet them. And it has been one of the best experiences ever to be in a group of not just Star Trek fans, but in general, all sorts of fans joined House Vampire. They weren't just Trekkies, they weren't just Klingons. These are people who legitimately have a love for fantasy and science fiction. We just have a common interest, and I honestly love being around Mr. Miller. I love being around these people because they are just so awesome. I don't care if the two people in general who have brought drama into my family ever try to actually come to Starfest, because you know, I have friends. I have people that I can turn to, that I can call my friends. And I can legitimately say, hey, these are my friends, this is my family, these are my friends, and if you want to pick on me for being who I am, go right ahead. Because it just shows how much you are part of my family. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I am so glad I met these people. I am so glad I am friends with these people. And I honestly hope, pray, and I hope to gosh that I one day absolutely will meet my friends in a better environment, because I did not like being used by and lied to. And I mean, I personally hope, pray, and hope that someday I get to see this individual again, but I highly doubt it. So I'm just gonna keep praying and hoping, and So, yeah. That is the one thing I do think I'm quite happy about, is when I am with the people I have been with for this long. I will miss a lot of things, but I'm glad I have the people that I have in my life, because honestly, I don't know if these two individuals are watching ever. If they want to troll my social media on Facebook, they probably have quite a bit of dirt on me anyway, but it's not like they know who my friends are, so I'm hoping that one day I can talk to my friends again. But what happens to, I'm still working through that part, where I've lost so many people in my life because of what happened with my sister and with everything. Honestly, I hope that I one day actually have the courage to say this in person to the said individual, that he is a coward, that he is that he has no right to call himself a father. He needs a psychiatrist. I'm not ever gonna forgive him, so I'm not gonna say anything else on that, but I hope one day I can find the people in my life that meant the world to me again, and feel comfortable with telling them, hey, you guys do mean the world to me. But just the fact that even if I say anything in my defense, which none of you can like me, so I'm just not gonna say it. I once believed I had friends in a fandom one time, but some of these friends were people that actually were not good people. And when I met Mr. Miller and a bunch of other people at House Vampire, I remember one day I was just so angry with myself, and he finally just told me, hey, I think you're a really nice person, but you shouldn't be blaming yourself for the actions of people that don't care about you. And since that day, I appreciate what they have told me about how much of a good person I really am. And I hope that, you know, maybe if this individual sees this, knows that I have friends, I have people that I can tell her to go, tell him to go, you know, screw himself with a fish. Because I quite frankly, I could care less about whether he sees this or not, because honestly, he can't really use this against me, because I have friends, and I have friends that matter. And I hope they come back. I hope he does try to come back and say, hey, yo, I'm gonna, and then learn that I'm not gonna take it lying down. Because, honestly, friendship is about being a friend, not being an enemy. And I hope that one day I can kind of walk up and say, yo, you're... The thing is, I love to just tell this person that how much of an awful human being they really are, but honestly, I never understood what my sister saw in this person. Then again, I don't even think this guy knows her backstory and how much pain she went through. And I kind of blame it on a girl who probably, I wish I could be more blunt. If I ever see Shafali Patel, I don't even know if that's her real name anymore. I wish I could just tell her to go screw herself and go back to wherever she came from, because I'm not a bad person, so I just figure, you know, she just kind of deserves my ire and anger, but I also know she just deserved to be told a bunch of racial slurs and a bunch of bad things, but I know she deserves to be told that she is a very bad person and she isn't a very nice person, and I hope that people figure that one out and you know, something, because it's not just people like her that affects others. It's the fact that she affected my sister for 20 some odd years, and even though my little sister said, oh, I'm over it, no, you're not. You're not over it. It's a pain that I have watched you fake almost every time, and that pain kinda accumulates over the years to being pain that I have to watch you endure. And I am your sister, and I've watched it for so many years, and I know it still affects you because the words that people have said to me in the past. That I'm 41 years old, and I'm still affected by the words that some people have said. And one of which was directed not at me, but at a boy named Matt, who went to my school, who everybody accused of stealing when he wasn't even freaking there. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you can't freaking be human enough to understand that he wasn't there. He never stole my stuff. And yet here you are telling me he did. I'm just not gonna... I'm not gonna say I hate him. I am gonna say I hate the people that did this to him, because he is a very decent human being. His family came here yeah, this is my story time about black people are really petty, and I understand that there are people in this world that believe whatever lies they tell, but there are people, I believe, that should be held accountable for what they do to others, because it's just bad karma to inflict that on others, believe it or not. I grew up in a rural part of Colorado, and there are still people in the rural states of Colorado that I think deserve to be hit in the head for some of their backward actions. Some of these are actions that could actually get somebody killed. And it's also actions that could actually be detrimental to a child's development. Honestly, I've seen it, and I don't think I understand why anyone would subject their families to this kind of scrutiny. FYI, if you are part of the group of people that I'm talking about who went through the same crap I went through, let me tell you, I will empathize. Yeah, as you can see, I'm actually just leveling a mining craft, and then later I'm just going to go through and because, like I said, I am just going through wondered one thing about the whole issues I had with one of the kids in my class growing up was the fact that this is a kid whose parents actually divorced midway through my childhood, and I always thought it was weird when she showed up to one of my birthday parties and made the comment that she didn't think it was fair that my sister and I had such a, what was it, quote-unquote perfect childhood. And I always thought, why are you telling us that our childhoods are perfect? You are the one who thinks that we're perfect and we're not. I mean, we didn't get a real house, an actual house to live in, until I was like 13. Or no, we actually did not have an actual house that we actually owned until we were like a freaking I think about 8 or 9. We didn't really have a house of our own. We just sort of rented for years. I mean, I rented a house across the street from a haunted house or a haunted hotel in Evergreen called the Brookforest Inn. And I learned a few bit of history about that place, and it's not exactly, yeah, I can tell you horror stories of living across the street from a haunted house and just give you a Halloween story that actually is pretty funny. Alright. The Brookforest Inn has a very huge sordid history in Evergreen. Now, before anyone makes a judgment call about my childhood, yes, there is a few things I will tell you that is true about the Brookforest Inn. Yes, there was a piece of not good paraphernalia on top of on a fireplace in one of the ballrooms that the book was in. There was also another one on the floor that nobody could figure out how the frick gotta get that off the floor because it was painted in with a lacquer. So you don't know how to frickin' take it out. So no, there was no way to actually remove it. And oh no, there was no way anyone in Evergreen was going to admit that the owner of the place actually belonged to a not-so-good piece of our history. And no, he was not part of that group that runs around on horses wearing white sheets. No, he was part of something much, much worse. In fact, the man was from Austria originally. Now, I can tell you the complete story, and I do not want to risk getting banned from YouTube or whatever, but I guess I could tell the story. Because it was actually a pretty interesting story. His name was, the man's name was Mr. Weiss. W-I-E-S, I believe is how it's spelled. And he came from Germany, or Austria, in 1910 or 1912. He built the Brook Forest and to look like his neighboring hotel back when he was a child living in Austria. So here you go, the story of this man. So when he was when he built it, he literally, quite frankly, was very much, he really liked it. He loved this building. He loved owning it. He loved being a part of it. But unfortunately, owning a piece of this building, he really did not understand that what he did, he actually joined the German Bund, which is a piece of the American Nazi Party. He was a card-carrying member up until, I believe, 1941. Or 1942, I don't really remember. When the Americans actually started joining the war, he actually started to realize that what was going on in Germany was not a good thing for the for him. In fact, he actually realized early on that he was actually part of the problem. His family, his wife, who was a devout member, threatened to divorce him if he ever thought of quitting. And that ended in her suicide. Now, there are speculations of how the suicide happened, but the speculations have never really come to fruition, considering that her and him were not in a good relationship professionally, but in all the years he had to deal with the issue with his family and their he owned, the Weiss family owned quite a bit of stuff in Evergreen, by the way. One of his sons owned a fox fur farm. His oldest son was part of a conglomerate with another German immigrant. I mean, they owned quite a lot of land, and they owned a lot of parts of Evergreen. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, who owned the Anderson gas station, also owned a little bit of but owned a lot of land, but they were also part of the friends with the Weiss family. There was the Mr. and Mrs. Wilmot. There was the other conglomerate families in the area. And I mean, there was just a lot of history within town. And not many people actually talk about it. They don't talk about the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Weiss owned part of the town. They don't talk about the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Weiss collectively, I thought they extorted a lot of people, but that's just me. They did work very hard to make this the town of Evergreen very, very prosperous. But to what ends does not justify the means. I mean, I could be wrong in that particular fashion because, like I said, Mr. and Mrs. Weiss had a falling out after the U.S. got involved in World War II, and Mrs. Weiss committed suicide in the hotel. So you can tell that there was a lot of infighting in the family, because many of the family members did not agree to join this organization, even though when Mr. Weiss decided to quit, he just sort of went, meh, I'm not doing this anymore. He did not like joining an organization that limited the rights of others. He literally was not into that. He was actually more into making business, being an entrepreneur, working with other people. I mean, this was a man who was very much a businessman. He did not like the concept of, well, you know, taking that away from somebody else. If you wanted to make a business deal with a man, he didn't really care if you were Jewish, he didn't care if you were Muslim, he only cared about making business, doing business deals. He wanted to keep his town going. He was a person who believed in treating others as you want to be treated. He did not treat a person like he wasn't racist in the slightest. He was absolutely a interesting individual because he did not care about money as much as you might think he did. He did care, however, about how his appearance was to others. Mr. and Mrs. Weiss did care about why they would lose money. I remember hearing that, and people were like, "Oh my God, he lost money in his businesses because of World War II. Because, oh my God, you're German, you must represent the haters, you must hate Jews, you must hate all these people." And he just sort of felt like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Why would I hate these people? I do business with these people. And finally he just said, there's such thing as pride in one's nation and nationality when there is a pride in oneself and realization that one's orientation and lifestyle cannot undo the damage you have done to yourself, to others, and to the businesses you have tried to work with. And I understand where he was coming from when he literally said, I cannot do business with anyone who hates another human being for being someone else. I understand where Mr. Weiss came from in his deal. He wanted to be accepted in a community, but unfortunately that community was unable to accept the fact that he hated somebody from being Jewish. That is the saddest, most awful factoid he has always had. People don't realize how bad Evergreen really was at that time. I can tell you a horror story growing up in Evergreen. When someone found out I was learning disabled, I was treated like, my mother called it, I was treated like horse shit. She literally would say that. She said that I was treated like crap, she had to defend me all the time, and I finally learned that I wasn't the only one being defended. I was also being defended by girls I didn't know at the time. And these were girls that I had never met until years later. And one of them was a girl I thought hated my guts. Her name was Jennifer. And her mother and I, at first we never really got along. And then we started getting along, and then there was a girl, Margaret, who also got along with me. And when you're living in Evergreen, it is so obtuse. It is such an obtuse kind of world. I lived in a place where basically, yeah, the other history of Evergreen actually runs with a friend of mine by the name of Janelle. Her family lived in abject poverty for the longest time, and I do remember my mom bringing Janelle a coat, like one of my old coats from when I was little. She said, "Oh, Janelle's not gonna have a coat. Why don't we give her your old one that you're not wearing anymore?" And we gave my coat to Janelle, and her parents were so shocked that we were willing to give their daughter a coat. And the one key factor that always bugged me about Evergreen is they always brought up the fact that Janelle was black. Oh my freaking god. So, she was nice, she was cool, she had the coolest Barbie, and I hate Barbie, by the way. She gave me for Christmas one year, because she couldn't afford it, she went and bought me a black Barbie. A black Barbie doll. And her family was like dirt poor, so they cut me a freaking black Barbie doll. And I absolutely thought it was like the coolest thing in the universe. I mean, my grandmother said that was the only Barbie I actually enjoyed having. And I will tell you, that was actually a great gift. I personally have never felt any animosity about that gift, because I honestly felt it was worth it. It was worth having. And I am so glad I actually got to know her. I was actually glad I got to meet her and her family. And to this day, I am so glad I have my friend Kristen, I have my friend Erica, and her sister Cara. I have so many friends I can be thankful for, because they're the reason I actually did a lot of research about the history of Evergreen, and the reason why I absolutely love going back to Evergreen to get pictures, because part of it's part of my memories. Part of it is a lot about memory. But people forget that memories from your childhood do have meaning. And I want to mention, if you are ever going to Alright, let's see. We're gonna do some... Like I said, I'm leveling some of my stuff that is like... needs to be leveled. Let's see. One of the worst parts about growing up in a town like Evergreen, and you realize people are so freaking... Terry doesn't post pictures. Yeah, usually it's easier to just level like this, where you just go out and you do what I'm doing, which is like totally going hog wild on the leveling. What I'm doing is basically just leveling everything out, making it cool, not trying to... Yeah. But yeah, FYI, if there are trolls that are from watching my FB page or watching this, hi! As you can see, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I always find it funny when I tell people that I'm into Doctor Who sometimes, that I will actually tell somebody that I do not like telling people which Doctor I like, because I always end up with that one person who just turns into a troll. So, but I think the funniest thing is I've dealt with trolls a lot in my time, and I think it's funny because FYI, I've dealt with a guy by the name of RAS3, and I'm thinking that I should just treat this situation that I'm in right now like RAS3 has just returned and is a little more of an idiot than normal. But that's just me. I'm not just gonna be a total asshat about it, because honestly, RAS3 is an idiot. He's always been an idiot. He couldn't be as intelligent as any other person, because the fact is, the nice thing about RAS3 is he never learned to shut the fuck up. So that's one of the nicest things about being a person who's dealt with narcissism. I've actually dealt with a guy who probably shouldn't even want to make a shout out to the King of Sarcasm, Omegon. For one, I love watching his gaming stuff. I love watching the Hall of Shame, because sometimes, I hate to say it, people are that freaking stupid. And I honestly have lived through the stupid phase of people's lives, and I'm not, like, going to go on a tirade about how stupid he really was, this one person was, but honestly, I think the dumbest thing is, the fact that this guy tried to shit on his own parade pretty much, takes the cake on what, Omegon has always talked about how it's, and he's always commented that there should be a chance. I really should think about going back to Twitch, but you know, I like YouTube. It's something I'm familiar with, but honestly, if you think I should do better in Twitch, please give me a message on here. Tell me, hey, I would like to see you on Twitch. You might as well try it, or something like that. I'm not in hindsight, I would probably say no. I could probably be game for it, because honestly, I don't really... Yeah, if you guys really want me to start moving everything toward Twitch, I would actually probably will start doing that more, and just leave Legend of Mana on YouTube, and just move everything to Twitch, just to be, you know, consistent. But you know, that's not That's not me half the time. FYI, for anyone who knows, knows my friend, Darkmex. Darkmex is one of my really good friends. I've known him for like years, and I've known him since, before my YouTube days, so whenever I usually want to say shout out to Darkmex, you are kind of, I would love to do a collab with you on FF14. We're on two separate, we're on two very different places constantly. I think would be awesome if we could actually sit down and actually do a collab in that we are definitely having that fun moment where you can just say, hey, let's do this. This would be great. But as I said, years ago, I was friends with a bunch of people on Facebook that I really should never have been friends with. Honestly, I hope that this is probably a phase on my whole, oh my god, this is happening, blah blah blah. Honestly, I highly doubt I have much to worry about, considering, because I don't do anything, and since, well, I'm just kind of depressed at the moment about how I'm gonna be spending my holidays, because I don't know. So I decided to just do my own thing. I'm not going to be angry or upset. I am actually hoping by some miracle my husband and I can actually have our own family and do our own thing, because I quite frankly do want to have a family and I do want to have kids. I realize, like, the situation with this, I do want to have a family and I do want to have kids and I do want to have that experience of having a family and being a mom. But I also, one of the biggest problems I have is, for the two trolls that are probably going to watch this, I don't want you anywhere near my kids, because I don't want you filling their heads with nonsense, and I don't want that in my family as a possibility of very dangerous. Yeah. I would like to be a parent that is actually aware that my kids, who their cousins are and who their family is, and I honestly would rather have my kids around their cousins on their father's side and my mother's side. So, on my father's side, because, it would be much safer than anything else. But the one person I want in my life is, a really good friend, and I hope that if I ever see her again, her name is Kira, and I hope that she does accept my kids, and I do hope that she can be the aunt to my kids, because my sister's not here. I don't have a sister anymore, and I want Kira to be part of that, part of our family, and I want her to be accepted, and I want her in my kids' lives. I want her there. Because I think she would make a great mate. I think she would make a good person to be around. And I hope she understands. That I hope she does want to be part of my family. Because I would love to have her around. And it would be nice to have her around. I know that if her, I know that this situation has hurt her more than anything, as much as it hurt me. So I am going to continue being a support for my friend, and I hope one day we can come up with something. But yeah, I want her in my kids' lives. I don't want her to be a replacement for my sister. I just want her to be part of my family. Because I have friends who will accept her. I have friends who will welcome her open-armed. I know my friends, and I know, like, 2 of them are the most amazing people ever, and they run a convention, and they run a lot of things, and I would love to have them around my kids. I would love to have them see the determination and amazing factors of my family growing, but I also want to make sure, if I do have kids, that I do this right. I do want a family that is complete, that is loved. And seeing how hurt my mom and my dad were, and how betrayed they felt, I don't want that to happen with my kids. My mom is not perfect. My mom is far from it, and I don't care. I would love to see my mom with my kids. I would love to see her just... I don't want her to I don't want to replace anybody. I just want to make amends of some way, making something better, and take away the pain. But I know for a fact that pain is not going to go away overnight. There's no way. We've lost, and it is a painful situation. So I'm not going to be going, oh god, we're going to do this. Oh no. No. We're going to try something better. I think that me and Lee have finally come to this realization that we need to start actually looking at our family as going the next step. And I think that is the best choice we can make in the future. So I think that's a better decision than fighting and getting angry and being angry at each other, because I'm just gonna say it. We just need to just accept the defeat and just move on. I love the kid with my heart, but there's just no way we can ever totally open ourselves up again. It's just painful to me. So I'm just gonna say we're not gonna go anywhere. But I'm gonna just we're just gonna do whatever we want. I think that Lee and I will be a lot happier, and I know that if anyone in the fandom has any objections to us having a family, I don't think it's anything you guys can do. Really, I think it's just something that it's us. It's our time, and it's time we actually talk about it. I would love to hear people's vocalization about the two of us having kids and moving on with our family and just closing the door. It isn't as if this kid is... It isn't as if we're permanently leaving behind anybody. Our door is always open. We're willing to help anyone who needs it. It's just now we just realize we can't do enough. We can't do anything for this situation. So I personally just think us leaving and leaving behind the pain is probably a lot safer than hurting ourselves again. And this is just hurting ourselves again if we just let ourselves get angry and upset over this loss. I mean, I just bought 2 new ornaments for my tree because we have a dragon tree, and usually when the tree goes up in a couple of days, we're gonna be the tree goes up in December. We have 2 ornaments for loss because we lost a cat and we lost someone else in our family. So we're just gonna go with it. If anyone wants to know who the other person we lost, that is not up for discussion. We will not be discussing that. So, yeah. I'm just saying, I think the most fun thing I want to do when Lee and I actually do our family, I want to do a huge, what I'm going to do is, buy a whole new family album and just, put the old one away for a while and just forget about it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put it in a box and just pretend it didn't happen. But I'll never see Disney World again. I know that. I will never see it again. Those memories are never coming back, so I'm better off just taking them and locking them away. And forgetting about it. It's a painful reality, but you know, I don't think it's a bad one. I think it's a good idea to just lock away the memory and just forget. Just forget about him. Just forget about it all. Until later, and I don't mind lying to my kids. I don't mind lying and saying anything. I will not talk about anything that will hurt my kids. And I honestly think that it is definitely a good idea to hide the truth. Especially just saying, oh, no, it's not happening. I mean, losing my sister was probably the worst, and honestly, it's better this way anyway. I don't think it's wrong to lie about it and voice that I am disappointed, but, you know, there's nothing I can do. And I don't think anything is gonna be really that bad anymore. Besides, I don't think it's wrong to tell my kids that somebody doesn't exist. And I'm sure that a lot of people will understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think that if I just worry about my own family and I worry about my own kids, that I don't think anything bad will happen to them. I've always been afraid that CPS will find out, oh, there's a learning disabled person having kids, we should take the kid away. No, I don't think that'll happen to me. I think I've seen enough in the world now that I don't think that'll ever happen. I think that's just a myth that was fed to us learning disabled to make us so uncomfortable about the idea of having children that we just sort of forget about it. I think that would be the best option, is just to say, well, maybe it's not true. Maybe they lied to us to make us compliant to the idea that we shouldn't have kids. Maybe I should just, have the kids, bring my friend Lorelei into it, have her and her husband be part of my life, have her and her family, which, by the way, are like the coolest people I've ever met, and then have like everybody from my anime fandom join in the fandom. Everyone I've been friends with since I came out as an anime nerd, and say, hey, these are my friends, I have an idea, let's bring them in as consultants. Let's bring them in and have them help me understand what being a family is like, and not be afraid of the repercussions of the what if. Maybe that what if needs to go away. I think maybe I should just put this hope in my heart that there is a better way of handling a situation, and my mom and dad will have a grandchild that they'll love. I think that's like the greatest moment for me, is thinking, maybe I should think about that. I shouldn't be afraid that somebody will take my kid away. I should be afraid of just hoping that I can be a good parent, that I can be a better parent than what I got raised into. Maybe that's what I should be worrying over, instead of thinking I'm going to be a terrible person, I'm going to be a terrible parent. Maybe I should just worry about the fact that maybe I should be a good parent, and maybe eventually the whole situation in the past will just fix itself. I don't think it will fix itself, but I'm not about to just throw it under the bus and say yay, nay, whatever. I'm just gonna go, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. I'm just going to pretend none of this is real, none of the issue is real, that my sister passed away, it was tragic, but it's not feasible. It's not my fault. I shouldn't blame myself for something that I have no control over, no way of knowing how the world will work. But having my kid is the more important part. And I don't care if that hurts. I have this silly old... I'm just gonna get rid of it, I have the images on the computer. I have them on my Facebook page in private. I have the pictures from my trip to Florida with my sister, and I will just throw out the pictures that are in the book right now and replace it with better pictures of my family. Because I think that's better. I think that is a way better way of handling it. And even though I'm kind of almost on the verge of tears, I think we'll never see him again. So, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? I'm never gonna see it again, so I just figure, you know, whatever. Whatever. Let's just move on and find something better to do. Besides, I have to think about my kids and my future and the kids I'm having. I may not like kids some days, but these will be my kids, and they'll be the most special kids ever. And hopefully they'll be normal. I want normal kids. I want kids that I can hopefully say, hey, my kids made it to this. I know I gave birth to them late, but you know, my body can handle it. I can handle this. I can handle being a mom. But my biggest issue is, how do I handle the fact that, what if I just think maybe I will be the better parent. I think I will outshine a person who is conceited and self-serving. I think I am a better person. And I bet anything. Yeah. So, challenge accepted. I'm doing it. I'm going forward. I'm just... Oh, shoot. Dang it. Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's funny that there are people who used to belittle me for being in special ed, and then I remember just saying, you know, I think I could do this better than you. And then get the glare of, what do you mean, do it better than me? Oh, I don't know, maybe, you know, actually give a damn about what you do, and how you do it, and how you write it, and how you take care of yourself, and, you know, those things. But it's always that really, for me, that awkward moment where I realize people actually, in my childhood, didn't care as much as they thought they did. I mean, they say they're good parents, but I kind of beg to differ, because there was this one couple that go to the conventions, and their daughters are, like, they have 2 daughters. They're, like, the cutest things in the universe. I absolutely loved their kids. And then one day I got so angry because I wanted to yell at them that they called their daughter an idiot. Because she wanted to know how one of the water spigots worked. I went and grabbed a glass of water. I asked if she wanted one. She was just watching me work the device. And I was just like, why did you call her an idiot? Oh, she's supposed to come over here. It's like, no, she's a kid. She can do whatever the hell she wants. If she wants to investigate what I'm doing, let her. That was my biggest pet peeve with them, is how they treated their kids, how they treated their daughter. I was like, okay, this is not how you treat your kids. My dad never called me an idiot. So I was just like, I started distancing myself from these 2 people because that's what they call their daughters. I was like, oh my god, what the hell is wrong with these people? You never call your child an idiot. I mean, there are days my nephew called himself an idiot, but that was just stupid gaming crap. I never once, ever considered him that. I considered him like the smartest kid in the universe. And if the trolls are watching, yes, I consider my one and only nephew the most smartest kid in the universe. I loved him to death. I will always love him. And my heart's broken. Thanks. The only reason I contacted him on frickin'... The only reason I contacted him on Discord is I was worried. I wanted to know if he was okay. I wanted to know if he was fine. It had nothing to do with my parents. If you wanted to think it was to do with my parents, that my parents put me up to it, oh, fuck you. So, if you are watching this, fuck you. It had nothing to do with you. Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna start doing my own thing, and I'm gonna start actually... You know, I'm gonna direct this at you too. I don't want you anywhere near my kids. Kira has every right to come to to see my kids. I will make it a priority to have her at every birthday party, every Christmas party, every event I can think of. My kids will have her there. And you know what? Use that against me. When I have kids, I will make it a priority. And I hope to God, and I hope that every person hears this, I was one hell of a good aunt. I was one of the best. And now I'm not even that, so... Thanks! Wonderful! I am never gonna live that down. But you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep... I think the funniest thing is when I get my kids, if I have my kids, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make my kids like the center of the universe for me. I think that'll be like the best thing I've ever done. I always thought it was funny when I used to go to high school, and there was always that one bully that always thought she was like so cool, and then she turned out to be like the dumbest thing I've ever seen when she was like thinking she was so cute and so cool, and then she turned out to be like, oh my god, you're like totally not even worth it. So yeah. I'm not gonna just bore you with details, but I think that if I ever become an aunt again, I'm going to do the most hilarious thing to somebody. And that is, I'm going to show... I'm thinking that, to me, my kids are gonna be like the coolest. I think so. I don't care if my kids are autistic. I don't care if my kids have learning disabilities coming out their fucking ears. I am going to be proud of them no matter what they do. Because anything's better than feeling like crap for doing the right thing. So, hey, have fun, because I am going to make my nephew's life a wonder. I'm going to make my daughter's life a living... I'm going to make her happy. I'm going to be the best mom out there, and I hope that anyone who sees me as a mom, I hope that I get to be like that cool mom that gets to go to parties and take her kids to go see. And I think I should take my kids to conventions. You know, not to show them off, but to say, this is what you get to do all the time with me. Because we're gonna have fun. We're gonna save up money. We're gonna go do things. You may not have like the perfect Christmas gifts, but you're gonna have memories for years. You're gonna have memories for years and years and years. And you know, I don't care if people think I am the worst human alive for doing it, because I want to be a parent that actually is a lot more proactive. And I know my sister was really proactive as a parent. I know she tried really hard to be a good mom. And I hope that I can take my kids to a convention. Hell, I'll dress up as Godzilla if I have to. I think that's one of the most important things I'll do. I don't care. What's gonna happen? Oh, I don't know. I'm probably gonna regret this, but anyone who goes between me and my kids are going to have a lot of problems, because I'm gonna have a lot of people backing me up, and I'm gonna have a huge family base, because I think as a mom I should have a huge family base. I know people are gonna say, oh my god, you're gonna be a terrible mother, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, for first sakes, I'm not gonna be a bad mother. I'm going to be the best mother. And I think people who I chose to respect nature. That's awesome. But yeah. Anywho, I was just gonna say it. If you are very much interested in any perspective I have on, because I might be going on later on, Legend of Mana, and having a little bit of a go in the, Harvest Birch. Let's see if it works. But yeah, I think that, after this whole debacle, I'm just, you know, cutting losses and just do what I can. I'm not gonna be a perfect mom, but you know, I think that I will do my best. Yeah, and I know that people are going to make comments. I know people are gonna be mad at me, and I know people are gonna completely bitch me out. I went against the idea, but you know, I lost my respect for people, and I truthfully, I hope that I never go through this again. I hope I never go through it again, because I know what it feels like to go through it, and I know that I'm not going to be epitome of good parent, okay? I know that. But I know that I also understand that people in this world, after what happened, I'm just gonna say it, it's an incident that I do not want I will put behind me and push away. I'm just gonna empty out all of the picture albums and just restart. This is a restart. It is a restart. We are restarting. The game is gonna be restarted. and we're gonna try it again. And we're gonna push forward, and we're just gonna wave goodbye. The best way to handle something is to just pretend it never happened. And hope we can try a different method. But I don't think it is going to change, but I'm just hopeful that I can make amends and restart. As boring as this is, I truthfully think that I'm doing the right thing right now, and I hope that I am not ever gonna go through this again in my life, and I know that everyone tells me that I will change my mind, or I will not change my mind on this one now. After what has happened, I think it is time I made my decision. And I know that that decision is final, and I know what my risks are involving. So I don't think it is a bad thing for me to do, but I will say, having a kid is probably I think the only issue I've ever had dealing with people in that regard is also the fact that many people that I've talked to have still don't think I should make that decision, but I am thinking about it. But the other decision I am making would be involving another issue that I've had, and it has nothing to do with anyone in particular. It's just some of the people I've run into that actually take this whole parenting thing a bit too far, and most of it is the people that treat tabs, huh? Where do I get those? I hate cheating. But yeah. Anyway, I was gonna mention that I'm gonna be at RMMC come next month. If you're gonna be there,